as that man who is the Republican candidate continues to distance himself from Project 2025, director of the project, Paul Dans, who used to be a top advisor to you-know-who, has stepped down. His campaign, you-know-who's campaign, he's saying he doesn't know anything about it. Nothing. He never saw it before, never heard of it. But his VP, JD, wrote the foreword of the book written by Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts, who co-authored Project 25. See how funny that is?
People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but or breaks the law.
Right, breaks the law.
But clearly, he has no respect for the law whatsoever, and so for the most part, it seems like they've been going after probationary people,
right?
Because probationary employees do not enjoy the same protections.
They lack some protections.
Exactly, and so it'll be interesting to see where the unions go with some of these lawsuits and how successful they are. But again, ultimately, I think that he's trying to get to his favorite court.
Representative Jasmine Crockett and Whoopi Goldberg faced off in a fiery moment on The View. Crockett fiercely defended the Biden administration and warned about the fragile state of U.S. democracy, while Whoopi, known for cutting straight to the point, pressed her hard on whether Democrats are actually reaching voters. The back and forth turned intense, fast. Crockett didn't flinch, calling out critics and stressing the high stakes if nothing gets done. Their exchange captured a bigger battle: how to balance calling out leaders while staying united against threats to basic rights. Now the real question is, what exactly did they say
to them? A lot of them don't do that.
Absolutely. It's a must in this environment, though, right? Because they will steamroll right over you. And unfortunately, we see that ever since day one, baby, that pen been going and it ain't stopped, and it's steamrolling over all of our rights and our liberties and our freedoms and everything that we thought was the foundation of this country, our Constitution.
Yes.
Seems like we're saying, well, nope, with a pen, get rid of the Constitution. With a pen, get rid of empowerment and other laws that exist.
Do you think that Americans just didn't believe that he would go with that Project 2025? Or what? What was that? I mean, he said, I don't even know what it is. Remember?
Oh, I remember, honey.
Yeah.
I remember there was actually a hearing that we had in oversight, and it was right after he said, oh, I know nothing about that Project 2025. Yeah. And we had a witness, and I mentioned that his name was mentioned 312 times.
Yes.
In Project 2025. Yeah. So it's like, this is interesting. He don't know nothing about it, but he's all through it.
I don't know if it's his name. He's riveted to it.
No. And he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different. And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way. The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can see.
Crockett didn't hold back. She tore into Republican leadership, accusing them of chipping away at constitutional rights and bulldozing democratic norms through executive overreach. She warned that their approach is steamrolling core freedoms and weakening the very structure of American law. One of her biggest concerns: how executive power is being used to erase laws, dodge Congress, and crush the system of checks and balances. She also called out the Supreme Court, saying it's being used to rubber stamp extreme policies, giving legal cover to moves that may not even be constitutional. But Crockett's critique wasn't just about politics, it was about real-life consequences. She warned that if things continue this way, everyday Americans could see rising costs, fewer public services, and disappearing rights. Then came the big one, Project 2025, a conservative playbook aiming to completely remake the federal government. She called it extreme, authoritarian, and dangerous. Crockett exposed the contradictions. Republican leaders claim they don't know about it, but their names are all over it. The plan includes mass firings of civil servants, expanding presidential power, and gutting legal protections. She called it a direct threat to democracy. And the scariest part: most Americans don't even know what's coming. Her warning was crystal clear. By the time people feel it losing healthcare, watching institutions crumble, or seeing prices spiral, it might be too late. That's why, she said, the time to fight back is now. before the damage becomes irreversible.
A country is rough.
Yeah.
Putting a country together like this country, where you have said to everyone, we want to hear what everyone has to say. We've lost sight of the fact that part of the greatness of the U.S. is the rough and tumble. You know, you and I have to figure out a way to be here together.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I look like, what I think, you have to live with me like I got to live with you. Like, we have to keep reminding people, well, we're talking about making sure women know what's going on. It's not because women don't, it's because we need the men to recognize that the women are on top of their stuff. We're trying to help y'all.
Can I say one thing? You didn't say many. Before the break, we were talking about how college kids have to vote and all that stuff. Young people have to understand something. If this 2025 goes into operation, your mother, your grandma, your father, your older people in your family, they will not maybe be getting Medicare, Social Security. Everything's going to get cut back. That means it's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. So you have to remember these things. When you're a young person, life may be your oyster right now, but it's not going to last.
Well, yeah, because you're heading in our direction. And you want to be, because the alternative is not the best.
Right.
So you want to be alive, but you have to also recognize we're all in it together, regardless of race, creed, color, gender, whatever. We are all taking care of each other, for each other.
Whoopi Goldberg, known for her blunt opinions, challenged Representative Jasmine Crockett on whether Democrats have truly pushed back against Trump's aggressive policies and powerful messaging. Crockett admitted the party has fallen short, saying Democrats haven't built a strong, united message that really connects with voters. She argued that while Republicans moved fast and confidently, using executive power and dominating the media, Democrats lag behind in building momentum. This lack of unity, she said, makes it hard to fight false information and slow down major policy changes that could reshape American democracy. As the conversation grew more intense, Crockett warned the public that most people won't feel the impact until it's personal, like hospitals closing, cuts to Social Security, and public services falling apart. She said by the time people notice, reversing the damage may be impossible. Goldberg, while agreeing on the danger, pushed Crockett on whether Democrats have the fire and focus to stop it. Crockett doubled down, saying awareness and outreach must come first so voters understand what's really at stake. Their exchange showed the party's internal struggle, sounding the alarm without losing the audience.
Not necessarily because of the subject matter, but more so because basically they said, no, this was signed into law, and in a 9-0 decision, they would not allow him to unilaterally overturn it. So we will see how well they hold up, but we know that this administration keeps threatening judges. If a judge hands down a decision that they don't like, they talk about impeaching that judge and getting rid of that judge, and they won't be able to get rid of these judges because the standard is too high. But he may end up telling some of those Supreme Court justices that are his, it's time for you to go. And they potentially will leave because he did that last time.
Well, I want to ask you about Democrats. You're obviously leading next generation voice in the Democratic Party, and while Trump is moving at this breakneck pace, it feels like signing all these EOs, doing these long-ranging press conferences in the Oval Office, Democrats seem to not be getting their footing on what the message and strategy is to push back. We think of the leaders chanting, "We will win" outside of Treasury, which was widely panned. You've talked about Democrats needing a branding overhaul. Are you satisfied with the approach so far, and what do they need to do to kind of get their mojo back?
You know what? I think that just like the rest of the world, we've got a bit of whiplash because for some people, even those that voted for him, they said, well, we've been here before and we didn't fall apart the last time he was here, so we won't fall apart this time. And so I think that while we have the playbook right there for us, Project 2025, I still think that even some Democrats were like, oh, well, he's just going to do what he did last time. And he's not. World leaders are recognizing that he's not the same.
What's your take on all this? Do you think the Democrats need a tougher game plan to push back against Trump's bold moves? Or will people only wake up once the damage is already done? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in and being part of the conversation. If this breakdown helped you see things more clearly, hit like, share it around, and subscribe for more bold takes on the big political battles ahead. Representative Jasmine Crockett and Whoopi Goldberg faced off in a fiery moment on The View. Crockett fiercely defended the Biden administration and warned about the fragile state of U.S. democracy, while Whoopi